Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy.
In the rock I will hide,
Thank you.
and in the shadow I will abide. Now the song was sung earlier, requesting for Yah to roll back the curtains of memories now and then, and to show us where He brought us from and where we could have been. And you know, while the song was being sung, it came to mind that if Yah was to roll back the curtains of memories now and then, and to show us what was intended for us from the beginning, and where we could have been now, had we not sinned, had we not fallen from His grace. Oh, how glorious we would be to this day. So today we are asking Him now to roll back the curtains, because the issue now presents itself as it relates to the dietary laws. What to eat and what not to eat. And because there are many different teachings out there, and many different beliefs, and many different interpretations of what is believed for us to eat and not to eat, then we must roll back the curtains to ascertain where He was taking us from. So the question I put to you before we begin, as usual: what is food? No highfalutin answer. Simple answers. What is food? What you eat. So food is what you eat. Good answer. So let me ask again then. What if I decide that I want to eat feces? Is that food? Huh? That is my food. It is bad food. Alright? Let us see. This wise man now, God questions at heart, says, Leviticus chapter 11 lists the dietary restrictions, he says. It lists the dietary restrictions Elohim gave to the nation of Israel. The dietary laws included prohibitions against eating pork, shrimp, shellfish, and many types of seafood, most insects, scavenger birds, and various other animals. The dietary laws were never intended to apply to anyone other than the Israelites, the writer is saying. The purpose of the food laws was to make the Israelites distinct from all other nations. So this man is saying that the food laws listed in Leviticus 11 were intended only for Israel. And its purpose was to distinguish them from every other nation. Now him say, after this purpose was achieved, so after God now distinguished the Israelites from other nations now, Jesus come now and declared all foods clean. And him quote Mark 7 verse 19. Later, Elohim gave the apostle Peter a vision that implied formerly unclean animals could be eaten. Do not call anything impure that Elohim has made clean. And him quote Acts 10 verse 15. When Jesus died on the cross, he fulfilled the Old Testament law. Romans 10 verse 4. Man, I give you a scripture in a virgin. Galatians 3:24-26. Ephesians 2 verse 15. This includes the laws regarding clean and unclean foods. So he's saying that the laws of clean and unclean foods were a part of the Old Testament law that was fulfilled. Gone about its business. No longer in effect. We won't tackle this man today. We'll tackle him next week. We must first, before we address him directly and the scriptures that he is quoting, we must first do what? See if you've been paying attention all these years. Go to the scriptures. Where in the scriptures we must? Okay. 1 John 1. The apostle John tells us and give us a clue. Peter do it too. Brother Stewart told us last week in Peter said, if you don't believe what I am saying to you, or any of the other apostles, and if you don't believe Pastor Hall and Brother Bailey and Brother Wade, you have a more sure word where? In the prophets. And now we see another man now come, which is John Yohanan. 1 John 1, it says, what was from the beginning, what we have heard, what we have seen with our eyes, what we have looked upon, what we have handled with our hands, concerning what? The word of life. So we go to the beginning. Genesis 1, verse 29. And Elohim said, see, I have given you every what? Plant that what? Yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it is for what? Food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to every creeping creature on the earth, in which there is a living being, every green plant is for food. And it came to be so. Genesis 2, 9-10, and verse 16. And out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim made every what? Tree grow that is pleasant to the sight. That sounds like what? What pleasant to sight? Flowers. That is pleasant to the sight and good for food. Along with the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the river now went out to Eden to do what? Water the garden, because now that you have fruit trees and flowers, you need what? Water to cause them to what? Grow and produce. All right. And Yahweh Elohim, verse 16, commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may eat. And verse 17 say what? You know that, man, you're not supposed to know in the Bible, Genesis 1 this. Except the tree of what? But him just say, every tree don't. Okay. Alright. Genesis 6:21. As for you now, Mr. Noah, take off all what? Take off, no sir. Read the scripture, man. Take off all food. So you see, amongst the food now, Mr. Noah, you are going to take off it, that is eaten, and gather it to yourself. And it shall be food for you and for the animals who are going into the ark with you. Genesis 7, 1-3. See the problem one here? We'll soon get to it. And Yahweh said to Noah, come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Of all the what? No. So of all the clean beasts, take with you 7 pairs. So this is talking about the animal that were bathed, right? Bathed. It's a clean. Answer me no, man. So of the clean beast, take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female. And of the beasts that don't bathe, unclean, take how much? 2, a male and his female. And of birds of the heavens, 7 pairs, male and female. To what? To keep offspring alive on the face of all the earth. Genesis 8 verse 20 now. Noah built a what? Altar, slaughter place to Yahweh. And what did Noah put on the altar? The one that we bathed. Of every clean beast and of every clean what? Bird, and offered burnt offerings, ascending offering on the altar. But here comes Genesis 9 verse 3. Every creeping creature that lives is food for you. Oh my, oh my. I have given you all as I gave you the green plants. Oh no, sound so sure again. When a run guy level faith, man guy eat pork already, man. Let us examine the scriptures, brethren. What is food and what is eating? Let us look back at some of them now. Genesis 6:21. Pay attention now, you know. Because we're talking about the law now. Man must learn law. Because ever since I began this journey, I realized that I have had to learn how to speak, because you know we're learning the Hebrew language. Now we are learning how to eat. We have to learn how to talk. We have to learn how to walk. We have to learn how to dress, how to groom ourselves. All the things that we should have learned from we were young. So today is eating class. So I want you to pay attention now and see if we can learn something. The scriptures 2009 says, as for you, take off all food. And that food there is age 3978. See it here? And you, take you for you from all of food. See the word here, food. Which he is being eaten. So we see food and we see eat already now. And we see age 39:8. Gather it to yourself, and it shall be different food this. Food, age 402, for you and for them. So the King James Version now, and I substitute it with the Hebrew words. Take thou unto thee of all ma'akal, that is, akal, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for okla for thee, and for them. That sound. Sound like watch it. Age 3978, ma'akal. Food. That's the definition from the Strong's. Okla, food. So we get the two words of food now in the bridge. Ma'akal and okla. Both mean food. Okla can also mean eating. The ancient Hebrew lexicon. So when you trace the root of both words, you arrive at this one definition. This one definition you arrive at. For both words. Watch it. It means complete in the concrete. Vessel as abstract. Whole. An animal or land that is tame for the yoke. An animal or land that is tamed has been worked and is complete and ready to use. Taming includes construction of holding pens, putting the soil to the plow, harvesting of crops, milk, or meat. One eats once the harvest is complete. It also means to sustain, to provide what is what? Needed to make someone or something whole or complete. So the food is meat, food, fruit, manna, victual, for giving sustenance and making one whole. So meat, devour, fuel, eat, consume. Food. Let us look at the okla now. Not the okla, sorry, the akal, which means to eat. So we have the mahakal and the okla, which are food. See the eat here now? Akal. Means to eat. And guess what? What you notice? What do you notice with this word? The same root, brethren, you don't see it. You see this no change. So the three words come from the same root. The same whole, complete, sustain. So when you look at it now, you note carefully that all Hebrew words for eat and food contains the letters kaf and lamed. K and l. Ma'akal, akal, okla, kaf and lamed. These two letters or oath, when put together, forms the word that is translated in English language as every, all, or any. You break it down now. You look at the meaning for each symbol by itself. So the pictograph is a picture of the bent palm, representing the bending or subduing of the will. So submission. This letter can also mean open or allow, as opening an opportunity. The other one now, the other picture, is a picture of a shepherd's staff or yoke. Shepherd's staff or yoke. That staff, the staff is seen as the authority and protection of the shepherd over his flock. So that is authority. So one, kaf, is submission, and lamed, authority. This letter can also mean to or toward, as the staff is used to guide the flock to a particular direction. Put the two together, it means tame for the yoke or submitted to authority. You learn something? Or my last one? Sound like my last one, man. See there? Following. And I'm going to see where we're going now. So you realize that the words for food and for eating comes from the same root word, which means whole, complete, to sustain, something that sustains, give your life. So look at it again now. Now that we know what these words mean, let us look at it again and see if we can understand something. As for you, take off that which sustains you, that which can give you life, that which is whole, that which is complete. That is what you're supposed to eat. Gather it to yourself, and it shall be sustenance for you and for them. That sound like it makes sense? That sounds like it makes sense? Moving along. Genesis 1:29. Elohim said, see, I have given you every plant, every eseb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree, every etz, whose fruit yields seed, To you, it is for sustenance. To you, it makes you whole. Look on the yield seed now. And he is saying, Elohim, behold, I give to you every of herbage, seeding seed. Says the Hebrew word double up. So the King James or the scripture say yield seed. But the actual Hebrew says row. Seeding seed. Which on surfaces of all of the earth and every of the tree which in him, fruit of tree, seeding seed again for you, he is becoming for food. So the word double up. And we're going to see it a couple more times. But we realize that there's a distinction even in the plants. I want you to pick it up, you know. You realize that there's a distinction even in the plants that you're supposed to eat? What is the distinction? Must bear what? Seed. Every plant that yields seed and every tree whose fruit yields seed. So when you say, I give you all, I already tell you the category where you work with. So when I come now and I say, I give you all tree, I already gave you the category. So if I come and I say, listen, Bridget, when you're going on a pig pen, sorry, not pig pen, we can't work with the pig today. When you're going at the goat pen, only take the spotted goats. We give you all of them. You can't go take out the goat them when I'm not spotting a virgin. You have to work with the spotted goats because he gave you the category which is considered what? Food, which is of sustenance. Thank you very much, Pastor. This is what we want to catch out of the word in a virgin. Moving along. So we see the seed here. Means to sow, scatter seed. The sowing of seeds by scattering them across the field. To spread seeds on the ground. Yield, sower, bearing, conceive. Seed. A scattering. And it comes from the three Hebrew letters. Zayin, which food comes from the harvest. Resh, raise, top our head. And Ayin, which is the eye. Genesis 2 verse 9. Out of the ground, Yahweh made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for sustenance. So that means, Sir Brady, if there is a poisonous plant and you go eat it because you feel that God says you must eat every tree and you dead, that is your business. Because he already told you what is of what? Sustenance, what gives you life. So if you're going to eat a poisonous one, that means that you came out of the category that was described as food. Verse 16. Yahweh commanded the man saying, eat of every tree of the garden. But watch the King James now. Yahweh Elohim commanded the man saying, of every tree of the garden, you may what? Freely eat. But watch this now. I will not find this a shock. I say, but him still come back and say, every tree. But watch it. He is instructing Yahweh Elohim and the human to say off from any tree of the garden. Watch this. Akal. So King James said, freely eat. But the word double. Watch how it read now. Yahweh commanded the man saying, from every tree of the garden to eat, you shall eat. You see that? I wonder if you see it. Yeah. Go and check me, virgin. Go and fact check me. I have the interlinear tools online. Go and use them. The word is double. See it here? Akal, akal. Aleph, kaf, lamed. Aleph, kaf, lamed. So of every tree to eat, of every tree of sustenance, you eat. Genesis 2:17, I'm going to show you, say double up again. Watch this now. But do not eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall what? Certainly die. But it not say certainly die, no. Watch it. From him, that in the day you eat from him to die, you die. So the word double up. So that tree was not prescribed for life. It's not food, because food gives what? Life, sustenance. And that tree was not for that purpose. So from you eat of it, you eat to die. So you what? Die. Go and check it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Moving along, because we have a lot to cover. Clean and unclean defined now. So the word for clean is tahor. And in Genesis, where he said that of all the clean beasts and of all the unclean, when it says unclean there, it used lo, then the word for clean. Lo means not. So it said not clean. But in Leviticus is another Hebrew word that is used for unclean. Anyways, so the word for clean is tahor. And it comes from, in the ancient Hebrew lexicon, it means contain. So you see the word for clean now? It means contain in concrete. Wall, abstract. A wall that contains one for what? Protection, or as a jail. It also means to watch, to target, as aimed at. So clean animals are animals that are watched. They are targeted, hunted. Prison, a place watched and surrounded by walls. So clean, purify, purge. Thus unclean would mean an animal that is not contained, not walled, not watched, not targeted, not in prison, not clean. So of all now, from among all the clean beasts, you shall take to you, and you know, say 7 pairs, you know, look. Shbo, 7, 7. So 7 by 7, you must say basically. So you carry them come 7 by 7. Man and woman of him. And from the beasts which are not clean, not contained, not watched, 2, the male and the female. 8 verse 20, and Noah built a slaughter place to Yahweh, and took of every clean beast and of every clean bird, and offered ascending offerings on the slaughter place. So now we are going to come across another word for food, because we're going into the Torah, further down into the Torah, sorry. And that word is okel. So now we get another word. So we have 3 words for food and 1 for eat. So we have the makal, we have the okla, and now we have the okel. What do you notice about this word as well? Same root. Can also mean food stuff. A substance that may be eaten for giving sustenance and making one whole. Eat food. Through sustenance, one becomes whole and satisfied. The word okel is used 44 times in the Tanakh, otherwise known as the Old Testament. It is used multiple times in Joseph's story in Genesis, in reference to what? Grain. It is used 4 times in Exodus, once in reference to the Passover lamb, and 3 times in reference to the manna. Why you pay attention, you know? In Deuteronomy 2, we see the Israelites requesting to buy food, okel, from the land of Seir. That's the descendants of Esau, the Edomites. But ended up being denied. So them said, no, we're not selling no food. And after plundering the city, we see them only leaving with what? Cattle. Go and read it for yourself, verse 35. So the man them go to the people and say, listen, we want to buy food. And them say, no. And war break out. And when them finish and them win the war, what did they leave with? Cattle. Root 2 verse 14, we see the word used in reference to bread and parched corn. What are those two things? Grain. Grain that. Psalm 104:27 and 145:15 says, Yah give us our okel in due season. What do you know grow in season or comes in season? Okay. Proverbs 13:23. Much food, Proverbs says, much okel is in the tillage of the poor. When you till, what you do? Farming. Lamentations 1:11 and 19. My people gave up the ghost while they sought okel to restore their souls. Joel 1:16-17 in reference to seed, storehouses, barns, and corn. Habakkuk 3 verse 17. The fields shall yield no okel. So the fields, Habakkuk says, shall yield no food. Then it mentions flocks, herds, and stalls. So right through the Tanakh, you get an understanding that whenever I talk about food, brethren, if him say, I give you everything for food, the category of food has already been established. You already know what is considered food. If I come to you and I say, come and take all the laptops, you're not going to leave with phones too. You're going to leave with laptops because you already know what is laptop. Moving along. So Genesis 9 verse 3. Every creeping creature. So the every is kol, kaf, lamed, complete, whole, of sustenance. Creeping creature, remez, that lives kai, is okla, food for you. I have given you all. And the same all here is the same kol. As I gave the green plants. So he's saying, because remember, what did I say earlier? There's a category of plants that is to be eaten. So he's saying the same way, I give you the plants and give you the category what is considered food, is the same way with the animals. So just as I gave you the plants, the same way I give you the animals. Watch it. By the way, this creeping creature is more accurately translated as moving thing. Because we see another Hebrew word for creeping creature, which is sherets. And that refers to like the insects and the crawling things, lizards and them something. So every of moving animal, which, watch this Pastor, wake up, look. Every of moving animal, which he life to you. Which is what? Life to you. He is becoming food. As greens, herbage I give to you all. Wonder if you catch it. When you catch it, I may have to go again. Watch it. Every moving animal, which he is life to you. Want to see the category there, brethren? Remember, this word here for every, already means whole and complete, That which is of sustenance is the same kaf lamed that I show you, The same root word for the akal, the makal, the okla, and the okel. It's the same word. So you start getting the category from here. Every complete sustenance. So every sustaining, moving animal which is life to you, is becoming for food. Want to catch it now? We can move on. So the big bad Genesis 9 verse 3 don't seem so big bad again. And even without that interpretation, we already established from chapter 7 when he says of every clean beast, that means then Noah must have had gotten some instruction, which is clean, which is unclean. So no big problem there. Moving along. So the creeping creature is the remes, as I show you. And they say that, they translate the remes as to move lightly. That's why you need to check your ancient Hebrew. Because when you check your ancient Hebrew, brethren, you realize that the word literally means to tread, trample. When you pass, you trample the thing. You ever see lizard trample anything? Eh? Lizard can stand up on a leaf and it don't break. Not even shake. Every trampling creature, tread, mash it up. And when you trace the letters, the resh, the mem, and the shin, it means lift. Anything that is high are lifted up. So it is high and lifted up above what? The other creatures. Because they are for sustenance to you. And the word for lift, kai, means alive, living. So life in concrete or live in concrete, and stomach in abstract. So the word actually means stomach. When the stomach is empty, one is famished and weak. And when it is full, one is revived. This organ is seen as the life, as an empty stomach is like death, but a revived stomach is life. The other day I eat some Chinese food, man, and when I reach at work, And a belly turning, man. Stomach no want that, brethren. That is not life. I don't know where them putting it and not going back. Because something don't right. So the food must be of life to you. Must be of sustenance to your stomach. Say, I want you to see how all the words connected in the brethren. The word for life, the word for food, for eat, all of them connected. So stomach, literally the organ that holds food, but figurative of life. Sustenance, life, the revival of life from food. A food that revives life. So it's not so hard. So we look again. Every moving thing that is of sustenance is food for you, that you shall eat, just as I gave you the green plants. So the Torah now. Leviticus 11. Yahweh spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying to them, speak to the children of Israel, saying, these are the kai, the living creatures, which you akal among all the beasts that are on the earth. So these are the living creatures that you are to eat among all the living creatures on the earth. Whatever has a split hoof, completely divided, chewing the cud among the beasts, that you do akal. So that you can eat. So now we're getting some understanding now how Noah knew these things. Only these you do not eat among those that chew the cud are those that have a split hoof. The camel. Why? Because it chews the cud but does not have a split hoof. It is unclean, tameh, to you. And the rabbit, because the rabbit chews the cud but does not have a split hoof. It is unclean to you. Here's a rabbit meat nice in the bridge. Hear me here. And the hair, because it chews the cud, but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the talk, no man, no man talk. And the pig, though it has a split hoof, completely divided too, it does not chew the cud. It is unclean to you. Their flesh you do not akal. Why? Only okla, only okel is to be akal. And their carcasses you do not touch. They are unclean to you. These you do eat now. Of all that are in the waters. Anyone that has fins and scales. So 2 requirements for the land animals, you know. Split hoof, completely divided, and chew the cud. For the water animals now, they must have fin and scales. In the seas and in the rivers. And all that move in the waters, or any living being which is in the waters, they are an abomination unto you. So, but all that have not fins and scales. So if you don't have fins and scales, all of them is what? Abomination. They are an abomination unto you. Of their flesh you do not eat. Of their flesh you do not akal. Because they are not okla. They are not okel. So you don't akal and you don't makal them. And their carcasses you abominate. All that have not fins or scales in the waters are an abomination unto you. And these you do abominate among the birds. They are not eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, the vulture. You know what is vulture? Junk. The black vulture, the hawk, the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, ostrich, nighthawk, seagull, hawk after its kind, the little owl, the fisher owl, great owl, white owl, pelican, carrion vulture, stark, heron, hoopoe, and bat. Can you tell me what all these share in common? Scavengers. They are scavenger birds. And whosoever in this list is not a scavenger is a nocturnal animal. Means that they only operate in the night. So the owl and the bat. Because I think bat eat fruits, you know. But him operate in the night. All flying insects that creep on all fours is an abomination unto you. So if him fly and him creep, some no right. So if him fly and him creep, something no right. You cannot eat that. Watch it. Only these you do eat, only these you do akal of every flying insect that creeps on all fours. So we can eat some insects, you know. Those which have jointed legs above their feet, with which they leap on the earth. So the insects that jump now, who that sound like? Grasshopper. So you can go catch a grasshopper and cook him, virgin. Stir. And locust, can remember John the Baptist, right? John the Baptist eat up him locust, virgin. Eat up him locust. And what grasshopper and locust eat? Tell me. Okay. What does goat and cow eat? Okay. These of them you do eat. The arbe locust, the solam locust. So you all get different species of locust we can eat in the budget. You get French fry locust, barbecue locust, all different type of locust. You get curry locust, hargol locust, hagab locust. But all other flying insects, so if it's a drum or roach, you cannot eat that. Which have 4 feet are an abomination to you. And by these you are made unclean. Anyone touching the carcass of any of them is unclean until evening. And anyone picking up part of the carcass of any of them has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. So every beast that has a split hoof, not completely divided, or does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcasses is unclean until evening. And he who picks up the carcass has to wash his garments. Verse 29. These are unclean to you among the creatures, among the creeping creatures that creep on the earth. The mole, the mouse, and the turtle after his kind, the gecko, the crocodile, the sand reptile, the sand lizard, the chameleon. Crocodile is big meat in foreign, and alligator, you know. Exotic meat in a brethren. What you say? And then after the man risk his life to catch it, you have to pay good money for it. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Anyone who touches them when they are dead becomes unclean until evening. And whatever any of them in its dead state falls upon. So if something die, one of the unclean animals, and it fall on something, it becomes unclean. Whether it is any wooden object or garment or skin or sack, any object in which work is done, it is put in water and it shall be unclean until evening, then it shall be clean. Watch this now. Any vessel, earthen vessel, into which any of them falls. So if a lizard drop in your vessel, you know, whatever is in the vessel becomes unclean, and you are to break the vessel. Watch this now, you know. Any of the okel now, you know. Any of the food. So if you have food in your vessel, and look what God said, you know, any of the okel, which might be akal, so any of the food which might be eaten, on which the water that is contained in that same vessel now comes, the food becomes unclean because the lizard dropped into the water from the vessel. And any drink which might be drunk from it becomes unclean. That's why I'm said to break it. And on whatever any of their carcass falls becomes unclean. An oven or a cooking range. You can imagine the thing drop on your stove, bridge in a car, use the stove till evening. Hungry kill you know. It is broken down. They are unclean and are unclean to you. But a fountain or a well, a collection of water is clean. But whatever touches their carcass is unclean. And when any of their carcass falls on any planting seed, so if you have a seed now, and the dead animal drop on the seed, which is to be sown, the seed clean. Watch it, you know. But, you see the water from the vessel now? If the water is put on the seed, and any part of any such carcass falls on it, it is unclean to you. How this makes sense now? Last night I read it and I said, what going on? The water activates the seed. So if the seed is just there dry, the seed good if him drop on it in a virgin. And God is saying no, but if the water catch the seed, you have to dash away. But when any water is put on the seed and any part of any such carcass falls on it, it is unclean to you. And when any of the beasts which are yours for food, so the beasts which are yours for food dies, he who touches its carcass becomes unclean until evening. So once it's dead and you touch it, you're unclean. Even the clean beasts. And he who eats of his carcass has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. And he who picks up carcass has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. Watch this now. Every swarming creature now, the sherets, The one that swarms on the earth is an abomination. It is not akal. Whatever crawls on its stomach, and whatever goes on all fours, whatever has many feet, so the spider and the lobster and the crab, among all swarming creatures, the ones swarming on the earth, these you do not eat, for they are an abomination. Do not make yourselves abominable with any swarming creature. The one swarming, and do not make yourselves unclean with them, lest you be defiled by them. For I am Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall set yourselves apart. You shall be set apart. Why? For I am set apart. And do not defile yourself with any swarming creature, the one creeping on the earth. For I am Yahweh, who is bringing you up out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim, and you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. This is the law of the beast, and the birds, and every living being, the creeping creature in the waters, and every being that swarms on the earth, to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, between the living creature that is akal, and the living creature that is not akal. Deuteronomy 14. Same thing again. Do not eat whatever is abominable. And him said from verse 2, you are a set apart people. And see some of them we can eat here now, ox, sheep, goat, deer. So we can eat deer in a brethren. We can eat deer in a brethren. But deer supposed to deer. We can eat gazelle, roebuck, wild goat, mountain goat, antelope, mountain sheep. Every beast that has a split hoof divided in two, chewing the cud, we know it already. And the ones that we can't eat again now, the camel, the hare, the rabbit, because they chew the cud but they don't have split hoof. And the pig, because him have split hoof but him don't chew the cud. No, pig and swine, same thing. So these you do eat that are in the waters, and we see it again, the ones that have fins and scales. Clean bird now. So any clean bird you do eat. So him tell us say you can't eat the clean bird. But you see these, don't eat them, the eagle, the vulture. And we just read them a while ago. And he said the creeping insect that flies is unclean for you, not eaten. Any clean bird, you can't go and eat all the clean birds, but don't eat the scavengers. So watch it now, make we see if we can see if we learn anything today. And by the way, some translations, when they're translating Leviticus 11, it says that, where it says the ones that goes on all fours, it says when them have paws. So like dog and cheetah and lion and them animals who have paws, we're not supposed to eat them. So when I call the animal name, you say no or yes. Or we say akal or no akal. See if we're learning. Puss, dog, horse, duck, frog, leopard, cow, elephant, wolf, rhino, hen, monkey, rat, pig. But the pig split, yes, virgin. Oh. Camel, goose. Goose? I don't think I eat goose. Let me check him out, you know. Suppose I can't eat goose, man. Suppose I can't eat goose. I probably can't eat all duck, too, man. Can't eat the duck. Can't eat duck. Oh, yeah, web feet. Okay. Raccoon. No, man, goose not have web feet. Yeah, web feet, you know. I will feed this, yeah, we can't eat him. So we're learning. Raccoon. Penguin. Why am I not eating penguin, you know? Yeah, penguin look like him could I eat, you know. And if him have scale. Bird will swim past us, so you have to check him if him have scale. Fox, rabbit, sheep, bear, lion, giraffe. Look on the giraffe. Giraffe chew cud, you know? Giraffe chew cud, man. See there, see hoof there? Eh? No, man, giraffe eat a tree, them eat, you know? A tree is them eat, man. We have to check him out. I think him chew the cud, but we have to check him out. Because if he not chew the cud, we can't eat him. Eh? But suppose we go somewhere we see giraffe and we can't eat him. Alright. So moving along. Be set apart, for I am set apart. So it don't matter if it's a little bit. When they were in the wilderness, it's man of them get every day. Be set apart, for I am set apart. Don't go eat where you want to eat. So the consumption of food now, my brothers and sisters, by mankind seems to be a serious matter. And it has wreaked havoc on the world since the beginning. Because what was the first commandment we see? Do not eat. And what did the man do? Eat. And the world mash up. So whether we believe it to be figurative or literal eating, the significance remains. The physical mirrors the spiritual. Note well. Watch this now. Pay attention. Whatever is unclean for consumption or offering on the altar, because remember, I know the offerings on the altar, they are consumed by fire when they are offered to Yahweh. So whatever is unclean for consumption or offering on the altar or the temple to Yah is unclean for consumption in the body. For us. Wonder if you see it. And that which is clean for consumption on the altar is clean for consumption in us. I wonder why. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16 to 17. Do you not know that you are the temple of Elohim, and that the Spirit of Elohim dwells in you? If anyone defiles or destroys the temple of Elohim, Elohim shall destroy him. So if you occult that which is not occult, you will die. For the temple of Elohim is set apart, which you are. 1 Corinthians 6, 19 to 20. Do you not know that your body is the temple of the set apart spirit, which is where? In you, which you have from Elohim, and you are not your own. For you were bought with a price, therefore, esteem Elohim in your body. Eat the right thing. Eat that which is prescribed. Offer the proper offering on your altar. So esteem Elohim in your body and in your spirit, which are of Elohim. So the body and the spirit are of Elohim. Yohanan 2 verse 19 to 21. And Yeshua answered. So if you don't want to believe, Paul, tell me that you're not going to believe your Messiah now. Yeshua answered and said to them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I shall raise it. Speaking to his captors. Then the Jews said, 46 years it take to build this a temple. So how am I going to raise it up in 3 days? And verse 21, but he spoke about the temple of his body. Ephesians 2, 18 to 22. Because through him now, we both have access to the Father. By what? One Spirit. So then you are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens of the set apart ones and members of the household of Elohim, having been built upon the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, Yeshua Messiah himself being chief cornerstone, in whom all the building being joined together grows. So when you clean, me clean, and you clean, we grow into a set apart temple in Yahweh. So we don't want to poor kid around with. In whom you also are being built together into a what? A dwelling of Elohim in the Spirit. Romans 12:1. I call upon you therefore, brothers, and we know this one in and out, through the compassion of Elohim, to present your bodies, hallelujah, as a living offering. So if you are unclean and defiled by that which is not food, you cannot present your bodies as a living offering. You see what I'm saying? Present it as a living offering that is what? Set apart. So if you are eating that which is not set apart, then you are not set apart. When you go to the doctor, now the doctor tells you, you are what you eat. Are we seeing it in the Bible now? You are what you eat. And this is your reasonable worship. First Peter 2 verse 5. You also, as living stones, are being built up a spiritual house, a set apart priesthood to offer up. So you are being built up as a spiritual house and a set apart priesthood to what? To do what? To offer up spiritual offerings acceptable to Elohim through Yeshua the Messiah. So if you come with unclean animals, your offering will what? Be rejected. Can't go on the altar, brethren. Isaiah 65, 3-4. Our Elohim speaking now, you know. The people who do what? Provoke me continually, he says, to my face, who slaughter in gardens, burn incense on slaughter places of brick, who sit among the burial sites and spend the night in secret places, who do what? Eat the flesh of pigs, and the broth of unclean meat is in their pots. So me start considering not to eat anywhere else but my yard. Because if pig cook in a pot, I'm not supposed to eat out of it. This is serious business now. This is serious business now. When I prepare the sermon, I tremble, brethren. Isaiah 66, 16-17. For by fire and by his word Yahweh shall judge all flesh. And watch the judgment. And the slain of Yahweh shall be many. So when him judge now, the slain shall be many, because many will be found wanting. Why? Those who set themselves apart and cleanse themselves at the garden, after one in the midst, eating what? Flesh of pigs. And the abomination, and the man them eat rat. They are snatched away together, declares Yahweh. It's not me say it. So next week now we'll look at these, the controversial scriptures. Romans 14, 2-3. One indeed believes to eat all food, but he who is weak eats only vegetables. Says a weak man eat vegetables. He that eats, let him not despise him who does not eat. And he that does not eat, let him not judge him who eats, for Elohim received him. 1 Timothy 4, 3-4. They forbid to marry and tell you to abstain from foods which Elohim created to be received with thanksgiving by those who believe and know the truth. Because every creature of Elohim is good, and none is to be rejected if it is received with thanksgiving. So the man said, bless and eat, brethren. Colossians 2, Let no one therefore judge you in eating. So don't make Brother Wade come preach dietary laws sermon judging you in eating, or in drinking, or respect of a festival, or a new moon, or Sabbaths. And 1 Corinthians 10:25 to 26 and 31. You eat whatever is sold in the meat market, asking no questions because of conscience. For the earth belongs to Yahweh and all that fills it. So the man say, you just buy your meat in the market, brethren, because the earth belongs to God and everything that fills it. Therefore, whether you eat or drink and whatever you do, do everything to the esteem of God. Mark 7 verse 18, the big bad one, because it's the Messiah this now, brethren. And the Messiah said to them, are you also without understanding? Do you not perceive that whatever enters a man from outside is unable to defile him? Because it does not enter his heart, but his stomach, and is eliminated. So you're going to pass it out, thus purging all foods. And he said, what comes out of a man, that defiles a man, not that which goes in. And Acts 10, another big one, 11 to 15. And he saw the heaven open, this is Peter, and a certain vessel like a great sheet. So one big sheet, chop all in Peter see, bound at the four corners, descending to him, let down to the earth, in which were all kinds of four-footed beasts of the earth, wild beasts, creeping creatures, and birds of the heavens. And a voice came to Peter and said, rise up, Peter, kill and eat. And look at Peter say, not at all, Master, because I have never eaten what is common or unclean. And the voice came to him again the second time and said, what God has cleansed, you do not call it common. So we're in trouble next week. Conclusion. When you sit down to eat, my brothers and sisters, with even a king, the wise man is saying, look well what is before you. Analyze the food. Put a knife to your throat, the wise man is saying. If you are a man given to appetite, if you love your belly, and if you have an appetite for exotic foods, because some people have some wide appetite, because I could eat crocodile in a bridge. I would vomit, so you have some people with some extended appetites, who can manage anything, The wise man is saying, if you are a man given to your appetite, it's better you put a knife to your throat. Do not desire his delicacies, for that food is deceptive. For from the rising of the sun, Malachi 1:11 to 13, even to its going down, my name is great among nations. And in every place, incense is presented to my name, and a clean offering. For my name is great among nations, said Yahweh of hosts. But you are profaning me, in that you say, listen what the people said, Brother Brady. You just said a while ago, says little bit of things that we can eat. Listen what the Israelites said. The table of Yahweh is defiled, and its food is despicable, tired of manna. Wish we were in Egypt. And you said, oh, what weariness. Tired of it, man. It has stressed me out now. The same thing over and over. And you sneered at it. Make up your face. When we share out the callaloo, you make up your face. Said Yahweh of hosts. And you brought in what instead? You brought in plunder and the lame. And you bring in the sick. And thus you have brought in the offering. And God is now asking, should I now accept you or accept this offering from your hand? Brothers and sisters, food, okel, okla, Makal and the akal, all from the same Hebrew word, which means complete, whole, that which sustains life. Everything that I have given you, that sustains you, that gives you life, is food for you. I thank you very much. I trust you have learned something.
We are thankful for the message today.